Doing it now. Okay, we're going to start. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight to our community call about wellness. Oh, if we could just get it's Heather from Bali. Mute everyone. I'm just still meeting people, so just give me a couple of minutes.
That's okay.
I'd really like to thank everyone for taking their time out on Tuesday night to come to this online Zoom. Can you believe we're like only 2 weeks nearly away into spring, and I cannot wait. It's been a long, cold winter here in Perth, and definitely looking forward to the spring weather and then summer. So tonight, drop in the chat if you could, here we go, walk away with one or two simple strategies to introduce to your nutrition routine to help you get better results and make life a bit more simpler and easier. Would that be of interest to you? Drop a yes. Hopefully you're not going to say a no. And drop a yes in the chat if you have already been using our system and products. I'm going to check the chat.
We're all yeses so far.
Woohoo. Drop in the chat what is your number one favorite product? If you were going to a desert island, what would that be? Ionics.
Yeah.
Only one, Darylene. Ionics. I think it would be Ionics as well for Darylene. So just before we move forward, I really just want to make we've got this claim up here, this all about integrity. Everything that we're sharing on the call tonight, everybody's results are different. So depending on their eating patterns, their genetics, their lifestyle, everything is down to an own individual customer experience. So everybody's results are different. So I've let a lot of people in. That's great. So my name is Belinda McGowan, and thank you for joining us tonight. I have been using the products for 7 years, and I was a burnt out mum. I had so much inflammation. Looking at that photo, I was going to the gym. I had 2 young children, and I really wasn't looking after myself in the sense of nutrition, fueling my body. I just had no energy, but I just kept pushing through. A friend introduced me to isogenics, and I started on the Ultimate Pack, and I started to learn about protein pacing. And I've always, in that photo before, I had reduced a lot of processed foods. I'd gone gluten-free, dairy-free, but there was still something holding back. And so introducing to the system, you can see 5 days here I was flooding my body with adaptogens to calm my stress, eating really great nutrition. And this was after my first cleanse day. So you can see how my body absolutely just thought, yep, you've got a lot of toxins here, a lot of inflammation from stress. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. I had so much energy. Moving on from then, 7 years, I've been using the system for myself personally just to maintain and to build lean muscle. I go to the gym. I'm a runner now as well. I energize, what's the word? I have more energy than my kids who are teenagers. And I just love getting the most out of my day. I don't want to miss out on anything, So this is my story. And I absolutely love also coaching women to transition from that burnt out mum, female, busy professional into a thriving, confident body. And so I'm super excited to introduce my co-host tonight, Rachel, who's on the Gold Coast. And Rachel is a certified nutritionist as well. I'll hand it over to you, Rach.
No problem. Thanks, Belinda. I think how lucky you guys. You've got two nutritionists on a call. So you can absolutely ask us anything at any time. Don't be afraid to put a message in the chat or to put your hand up or unmute. If there's anything that we're covering that you're thinking, oh, I want more information about that, because it's all about asking questions and learning. And the thing is with nutrition, and I'm getting a bit off track right now about this is not quite my story, but what I wanted to say is the thing with nutrition, we aren't taught about nutrition in schools. Well, some do, but not to the extent that we need to exist as healthy humans on this planet. So it's very much a case of it's very individual. Even though we have a program that suits 90% of people, there is also individual tweaks that we need to make according to the person that we're working with. So feel free to ask any questions. Now, for me, my story is a little bit different. I never really had a huge weight loss problem. I was super bloated though and struggled with cortisol really, really badly. My diet was shocking. I had migraines and I used to exist on Panadeine and Nurofen every single day. And what that does to your gut, it destroys the gut lining so you can't absorb nutrients. So I was in a really bad way physically, mentally, because your gut is connected to your mental health. 90% of your serotonin starts in your gut, 50% of your dopamine, and 80% of your immune system. So if your gut's not healthy, nothing else is working. So I had a bit of a breakdown and decided I needed to get myself healthy and started on the program. And what that led me to was to continue on to study nutrition because I could not believe that the right nutrients, the right amount of protein, fiber, carbs would make such a difference to your health. And it did for me. It just transformed my life. Every part of my life changed when I started eating correctly. And so now it's my mission. I really want to make sure other women and men, but mostly women I work with, are on the right track with their nutrients. Because if you can get your health and your nutrition right, 80% of your job is done as far as longevity and having a healthy lifespan goes. It's just, the other 20% could be, DNA or genetics, things like that. But honestly, it makes such a huge difference to our health, our wellness, and how long we're going to be on this planet and how healthy we're going to be. So got a bit off track there, Belle, sorry, but that's me in a nutshell.
Thanks, Rach. Quick question. We've got all females, I think, on this call. Do you know how much fiber you should be consuming? We can do some nutrition questions tonight, right?
We can.
Q&A. I'm going to watch the chat. For a female, how much should you be consuming? Yep, 30 grams. So aiming between 25 and 30 grams a day. And what really helps with the fiber is that it keeps you full as well. So protein keeps you full, but the fiber, there are so many benefits for females. If your goal is weight loss, definitely fiber and protein should be definitely your focus. So 25 to 35 grams. So this is Mahali. I can't say her name, but she is amazing. I have absolutely loved following her journey. We have really focused on 3 pillars to resetting her metabolism. We've focused on anti-inflammatory nutrition. Can anyone pop in the chat, what do you think anti-inflammatory? What are some foods that would be anti-inflammatory nutrition? See if anyone is ready to. So I'll give you a few while we're talking because I've had this conversation with a few people lately. Oats are great and they have fiber too. Broccoli, chia seeds, flax seeds, avocado, leafy greens. Anyone else got any? Salmon? Rach, what are a couple of your favorites?
Oh, you know what? Anything that's clean. If you can stick to non-toxic, no
Processed.
pesticides, not processed, organic, anything that's a whole food is going to lower your inflammation. It is just,
Yep.
yeah, so you can't go
Sarah
wrong.
has said blueberries, beetroot, yes. Ginger, turmeric, garlic. I know Jen loves the garlic as well. Any of those. Kiwi fruit, beautiful. Okay.
Mm.
So what we've done is really changed her nutrition, focusing on anti-inflammatory nutrition, rebalancing her cortisol with adaptogens, and then 1 day a week doing a deep cleanse supported fast. So it's not a water fast, it's not a juice fast. It is supporting her body so her cortisol doesn't rise, but also removing the toxins. And that strips the visceral fat around the tummy area, all that inflammation. I mean, even looking in her face, your eyes is usually an area that you see. Now, the belly fat here of visceral fat that was lost was 6 kilos of that bloating, that terrible stomach. And so many women come to me, and I know Rachel as well, and that is the one area that's the telltale that their hormones are out, their gut microbiome is out, and their cortisol is high because it is triggering all of that.
Mm.
And so the number one program that we recommend is introducing the 30-day reset. It gives you a really great baseline to reset your body in energy, sleep, stress, weight, your gut, how your body absorbs food as well. And so this is what's in the pack. We have our Isoline Superfood Smoothie Shake, Natural Accelerator, which is a natural fat burner, the beautiful Ionic Supreme, which Rachel's going to talk about, isogenic snacks, which are for cleanse days, snack bites as well for cleanse days, Isoflush, which I absolutely love, and our cleanse for life. So on a shake day, what it actually looks like is consuming the whole foods nutrition, but supplementing a protein shake in throughout the day 1 to 2 times. So you can see here, we start with a shot of our Ionic Supreme, and you just have like 30 meals. And then you have a morning shake, a mid-morning snack. Lunch can be a shake or dinner, depending on your schedule. And the afternoon, having another snack to keep your metabolism going. And dinner, we have some great ideas where you can have a whole foods dinner. And before bed, you're having the Isoflush tablets, which are amazing. So these are some of the food ideas that we give to anyone that starts the program. You know, protein yogurt is amazing. We've got chia puddings there, stir fries, cauliflower rice. I love Buddha bowls. The broccoli salad over there is a huge, huge win, which I got from Lockie Horner, if you don't know him. Yeah, and just some beautiful family meals that we can all have. You know, you don't have to have different meals to your family. So I'm going to pass over to you, Rach, to speak about the Liquid Gold Ionics Supreme.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I'm glad, Belle, that you touched on the stomach issue because it seems to be that most women, well, that I come in contact with, that's where their weight seems to be gathering around their waist. Sometimes it's hips and it can even be around the breasts and face as well. But what that to me is a sign of is high cortisol. And cortisol seems to be in epidemic proportions in our society because we're all stressed. And what compounds the stress is our lifestyles and how busy we are. Now, this tonic here, Ionic Supreme, is one of the core pillars of the 30-day reset. And just going back one step, I know, Belle, you were the same as me as a nutritionist. And, I was writing out meal plans for people, trying to get them to buy the cleanest, best quality nutrients and ingredients and herbs and botanicals from organic stores and supermarkets, and it was costing them a fortune. Plus, it was so complicated. And when I found the 30-day reset with all these incredible products in it, I thought, you know what, this is so much easier. Just do this, and I'll help you with your one meal a day. And you know what? You're going to get a great result. So Ionic Supreme is one of the pillars, and that actually has 28 adaptogens in it. Now, for those of you who don't know what adaptogens are, you probably have heard of ashwagandha. Whatever you do, don't go and buy ashwagandha gummies or anything like that from a health store or a supermarket because you need more than one adaptogen in your diet for it to do anything. One is on its own is going to do very little. 28 in one bottle is going to really help you address that cortisol and stress. And what happens is when you are stressed and you go on a diet, your body will not let go of the weight. It makes you store fat when you're stressed. And I always say to people too, before you eat a meal, make sure that you take a few deep breaths and calm your parasympathetic nervous system because if you eat when you're stressed, it tends to go into fat straight away. Now, Ionics, if you can take this every single morning, at least 30 mils, you're going to find that you won't have anywhere near the amount of issues with fat storage, cortisol, or stress. And you'll be able to lose weight a lot more simply and easily. It is just the most amazing product. It's the same kind of thing that you get if you go to a naturopath and they start you off with a whole bunch of herbs, and that's exactly what they are. Now, cleanse days are a 1 day a week option on our 30-day reset. And this is where we start to really get rid of the toxins in your cells, helps remove any debris. It's like cleaning out it cleans out your gut basically, but it also sends you through a process called autophagy, which means that your body starts burning fat that you haven't been able to touch before with any other diet or any other day of the week. This really hones in on that visceral fat. Also helps the toxins leave your cells. It cleans out any debris. And it is just one of those things that when you do a cleanse day, you will notice such a difference the next day. You'll have so much more energy, but absolutely incredible, full of adaptogens, botanicals, herbs. And even for me, after 8 years, I still do one cleanse day a week still because I feel so much better afterwards. Now, I want to introduce you to one of my favorite customers and best friends. Selena Blackpool is going to tell you her story on her journey through the 30-day reset.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Rachel. So yes, touching on your ionics, that is liquid gold. I love it. Um, it's yeah, every day, at least 2 shots I have. And as you all can see by this photo, look at that difference. Like honestly, it's insane because when I look back on the one where I'm wearing the black and white outfit, I didn't really realize exactly how inflamed and bloated and all of that I was. And then fast forward a couple of years, I was that burnt out, stressed mum. I carried that weight in the midsection as well. I thought, just after having children and whatnot, like it'll eventually like subside and go. But no. So I reached out to Rachel, yes, my dear friend, and I was already kind of on a health journey and doing some things already myself, but I just knew I needed something more. And I'd been watching Rachel for a while and kind of didn't think I really needed anything. And what I was doing wasn't working well enough. So I knew I needed something more. So I reached out and said, okay, this is how I'm feeling. What can you do for me? So I basically said to her, okay, look, like I'm stressed, I'm bloated, I'm, moody, hormones, like it was crazy, like the perimenopause. And when I delivered all that to her, she was probably cheering behind the phone, to be honest. But she just said, yep, okay, like, and sent me the list and was like, take this, do this, this is what you need. So I did. And I honestly have not looked back. And that's coming up nearly 2 years now in October. And honestly, I started with basic products. So that's what worked for me. And everybody's journey is different, as you all know and are probably being told. It is very true. All of our journeys are different. We adapt differently. When our transformations are different in terms of like how long, how soon, and what have you. And I obviously stayed for a lot of the other products, and then I've always loved fitness, but in a different form. Like dancing was kind of more my thing. And then I started going to the gym and got into Pilates. So that was really good. And then I started doing weights classes. So now I do like heavy weights classes. I have upper body strength that I have never, ever, ever had in my whole entire life. Like my upper body is just like puny if you ever see me in person. But now yeah, can, do a heavy weights class, Pilates class. I can keep up with my children. I have 6 children and I have 3 grandchildren. And a couple of my grandchildren are the same ages or almost the same ages as my 2 youngest children. So to keep up with my children was like everything for me and the grandchildren. I couldn't do it, going from being like that young mum, um, you know, huge difference obviously in years as well. But yeah, I obviously wanted the energy back. I wanted, like the focus. I wanted to lose like the bloat, and the hormones, definitely get those in check. That was a big thing as well. So all of those boxes have been ticked. I now, like I said, go to the gym, so I've got movement happening. I can keep up with the kids. I don't hit the snooze alarm like I used to as well. That was a big thing. Like I couldn't wait for every day to end, and it was like, when are they going to bed sort of thing, and then not wanting to get up, and so on and so forth. And now I've obviously stayed. I still continue all of that every single day. It's like it's a daily ritual. I do it. I stick to it. And I also have started using all the other products, so proteins and cleanse days, collagen, love a BEA and the e-shots, for that boost of energy when you hit the 3 p.m., like you're not hitting that crash. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Don't want to kind of speak too much because I can probably talk your head off all night, but
Thanks so much,
that's
Selena.
me and my journey.
You're an inspiration, honestly. Anyone with 6 kids and 3 grandkids, and oh my God, I can just imagine the inflammation that you must have had in your body. And now you're just this amazing person that's got all this energy. So well done. And you mentioned collagen, which is one of my favorite, in fact, probably is my favorite product. I love this stuff. And look, honestly, one of the things that I'm super passionate about is ingredients and potency and science, because there's so many products out there that tell you they're going to do the world for you and they do very little or not much at all. And this is where the science comes in play for me with regards to collagen elixir, because it is very, very high potency, but it is also able to penetrate your gut lining and get into your bloodstream, whereas other collagens may not be able to do that. But the results speak for themselves. You just got to try it. We don't produce collagen after age about 30, so you've got to supplement if you want to maintain your skin and you want to live a long, healthy life with minimal wrinkles. But certainly try that. And at the moment, we have a massive sale on right now. So if you want to stock up, now's the time.
And we've got Darylene and Bronya on the call tonight, and their results right there, which is amazing. So the next thing that we want to speak about is our new product, which is the Clear Protein. It is unbelievable. It is 20 grams of protein, tastes like tropical water, and it's only 90 calories. And the feedback that I'm getting from so many people is that it just helps cut through that hunger, especially if you're having it in the afternoon around 3 o'clock. That's the feedback that I've been getting, and I've noticed it myself as well. So I think it's a fantastic product where people can use it to increase their protein intake and meet their personal macros. So you can see here, this female thinks she's doing everything right and having a shake and having a yogurt and salad and a piece of fruit. But she's only hitting 89 grams of protein a day, and she really needs 143. So by adding in the Clear Protein in the afternoon, that will give another 20 grams, but we would also tweak her shake or a Greek yogurt as well by adding more protein powder to that, and she would easily hit her protein macros. Now, why we want to consume protein and the right amount is because if you don't, it actually slows your metabolism down. Your body actually burns the protein when you consume it, because your body doesn't store it and it doesn't create it. So it actually needs to, burn it off. And so it also, if you don't eat enough of it, it also creates cravings. Okay, you don't have that full feeling, and poor muscle recovery. And then again, the fat burning is the biggest thing. So I love how this also has potassium and magnesium in it as well, and zero sugar. It is so good to use. And the next one is the creatine. It is the most researched supplement product on the market. It is so good for your cognitive health. And the studies are coming out that it's helping people with, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So good for your brain health. So good for elderly people to be taking it as well. It's just clear powder. You can put it in your shake, your water, your coffee. The biggest thing is you have to have it every day. And it really helps with your lean muscle as well. And yeah, so I'm just reading the chat there. And really good for, the hydrate Darylene the clear protein has magnesium, potassium in it as well. So it has those BCAAs and electrolytes in it to help you. Now, Rach, over to you for these packs. We have huge sale.
Yeah, we do have a massive sale. So if you are thinking about getting started, if you haven't started yet, there's 10% off any of our packs that are $400 or over. If you are already a product user or a customer, you get 15% off anything that you order that's $400 or over. So now is a great time to stock up. If you haven't already tried the collagen, or if you need to stock up on the ionics or any of the shakes, get in now, because honestly, it's a really good saving and it all adds up. The other way you can do this is if you're thinking, I do want to try the collagen, but I don't want to outlay that much. Why not share with a couple of friends or family or associates or even your husband? If you're doing a 30-day reset, get him on it as well, because honestly, if he's going to sit there and complain about his meals, he may as well be joining in with you and eating the same thing. So if you do that, you can actually earn quite a bit of cash. And in this case, we're using an example of a 30-day reset full price. The total in products and cash that you would get is around $319, depending on how many products or the 20% commission on the pack that you buy. Plus you get a consultant bonus and product vouchers. So it's a really good way to get your products paid for. And that is actually the first level of the compensation plan. So if you do want to make this into a little business, this is the first step for you to get there. But it is a really great way to get your products for free. Now, very exciting news tonight. This is one of my favorite products of all time, the Hydrate with hyaluronic acid. And I probably drink 2 sticks of this a day every single day. So Hydrate is on its own a really good way to hydrate your body, especially as you age, because as we age, we become protein resistant and water resistant. So your cells don't absorb water like they used to, which is why you get crepey skin that's not looking nourished, and wrinkles. So if you can hydrate or push the water into your cells more effectively, keep them plumper, it's going to make sure your skin stays healthier. It's going to keep you wrinkle free. And then the hyaluronic acid, that's an extra little additive they've popped in there to give you that really nice, plump, wrinkle-free, glowing complexion. And normally hyaluronic acid, you put that on your face, but putting creams on your face really do very little. When you ingest the hyaluronic acid, it makes such a difference. So I recommend all my friends or my family, make sure you have this in your water every day, because it makes a huge difference to how you hydrate and what you look and feel like at the end of the day. So that is free as long as you place your first order, that's if you're not already a customer, if you place an order tonight, you get this for free, which is very exciting, plus your discount.
So good. And we've got some gift bags to give away. So if this is your first time on the call tonight, please reach out to the person who invited you, and they can contact Rachel or myself, and one of these amazing little bags will be sent out to you to sample. It's got all the elixirs, an energy shot, energy bars, and the hydrate with hyaluronic acid. So that is it for tonight. Please unmute if you have any questions at all while you have us, because yeah, you've got us here. You can answer and get free coaching.